Okay, welcome to Game 4 of the 1968 World Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers. We are at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. We are joining the action in the top of the fifth inning. It's St. Louis 4 and the Tigers 2. St. Louis scored a run in the second inning. It was an Orlando Cepeda solo home run. The Tigers came back with two in the bottom of the second on a Bill Freehand two-run home run. It was 2-1 at that point until the top of the fourth inning when Denny McLain, still in the game at that point, he since has been replaced by Don McMahon, and McLain got Maris to ground back to the pitcher. Cepeda singled, McCarver singled, Shannon hit into a fielder's choice. That scored the first Cepeda, who was on third. At that point, it was a tie game. So there was two outs, and it was Norm Cash who couldn't handle the ball that was thrown to first base. It got away from him and it rolled into right field, and that allowed Shannon to reach third, and it was a two-base error on Cash, and that set up second and third with two outs for Dal Maxville, who hit a line drive single to left and drove in two runs. Gibson then batting popped up to end the top of the fourth. In the bottom of the fourth, there was no score. And now we are in the top of the fifth, and it's going to be the top of the order. Lou Brock, Kurt Flood, and Roger Maris against Don McMahon. So the series is St. Louis 3 games and Detroit none. So this is a do-or-die game for Detroit. And it's 3-10. 3-10, that's going to be a ground ball to the second baseman, McAuliffe. And that's one away. Kurt Flood is 0 for 2 on the day. It's a 2-8. It's a ground ball to the third baseman. Wirt handles it easy over to first. 2 away. And Roger Maris, who's 0 for 2. That's going to be off the McMahon card, and it's a 6-5. A 6-5. It's going to be a split. It's an 18, so it's a line drive base hit for Roger Maris. And he's on at first. And it's going to be Orlando Cepeda, who's 2 for 2, hit a solo shot, singled, scored 2 runs. So Cepeda against Don McMahon. Don McMahon looks in for the sign. He sets and he deals. And it's a 4-7. It's off McMahon's card. A 4-7. It's going to be a strikeout. So he gets Cepeda to go down swinging. And we go to the bottom of the fifth. 4-2, Cardinals. In the bottom of the fifth, for the Tigers, it's going to be Bill Freehand. Bill Freehand hit a 2-run home run in the second inning, and Detroit was up 2-1 at that point. It's a 3-5. A 3-5. It's going to be a line drive base hit for Freehand. He's on at first, and it's going to be Wirt. It was a double switch when McMahon replaced Denny McLain in the top of the fifth inning. Don Wirt with a runner at first. Don Wirt has some power, not a very good batting average. He batted 200 in 1968. He has 15 doubles, 1 triple, and 12 home runs. And that's going to be a 1-5. A 1-5 is a high fly to the right side. And that's going to be Javier. One away. And it's Dick McAuliffe. Dick McAuliffe against Gibson. And let's see. 4, it's going to be off Gibson. 4, 6. It's a split die, 18. We rolled an 18, so it's going to be a single. A single, and that's going to be 2 stars. So that's going to send Freehand over to third. And McAuliffe is on at first and third now. So the tying runs are on base. The go-ahead run is in Mickey Stanley, who batted .259, 16 doubles, 6 triples, 11 home runs in 1968. Against Gibson with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. St. Louis 4, Detroit 2. Let's say 2-7. If you look at 2-7, it's going to be a ground ball to the third baseman, Shannon. Shannon over to Javier. Javier to Cepeda, and that's a double play. Nicely turned, and we go to the top of the 6th. We go to Tim McCarver, and it's going to be Don McMahon against Tim McCarver. It's a 4-7. It's a strikeout. Second strikeout for McMahon against Shannon. Shannon is 0 for 2. Grounded out into a fielder's choice. He scored a run and drove in a run. 2-11. So it's 2-11. It's a ground out to the shortstop. Stanley over to first. 2 away. Here in the top of the 6th. And it's Javier. And it's 6-6. So that's going to be on McMahon. A 6-6 is a split 14. It's a line caught by the third baseman, Wirt. Has an excellent glove at third base. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th, it's St. Louis 4. And the Detroit Tigers 2. We are in Game 4 of the 1968 World Series at Tiger Stadium. The Cardinals lead the series 3-0, so this is do or die for the Tigers. I know the Tiger fans out there are disappointed. So it's going to be Kaline. Al Kaline, who's 1 for 2. He doubled in the 3rd inning against Gibson. And it's 6-6. So on Gibson's card, 6-6. Fly out center field. Norm Cash, who's 0 for 2. He grounded out and lined out. It's a 1-7. A 1-7. It's a shot lifted to right field, way back, and that's out of here. Score now is 4-3. Cash got a hold of that one, put it into the seats in right, and it's 4-3 now. St. Louis, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And it's Willie Horton. Willie Horton walked and struck out. He scored a run. 2-7. It's a hard hit ground ball, but right at the third baseman, Shannon. Across the diamond. 2-way. Jim Northrup. Northrup batted .264. 29 doubles, 7 triples, and 21 home runs, so he has some power. And it's a 4-6, so that's going to be off Gibson's card. 4-6. It's going to be a split, but it's a 20, so it's a line drive base hit for Jim Northrup, the center fielder. So the tying run is now on base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Bob Gibson is still on the mound. And it's the pitcher spot, McMahon's spot. Eddie Matthews actually started, I'll share this with you. Eddie Matthews started the game. And I found a player that was almost identical, because the Eddie Matthews card, even though in the original Game 4, Eddie Matthews started at third base, the card did not come with this set. So all I did was find the closest player, and there was a player that was almost identical, except for walks, batting, and doubles and triples. So what I did was any double and triple on his card would automatically become a single. Home runs stay because the home runs were the same. And so I just added a little tag there, and that's how I did that, to add a player, that wasn't carded. So he's out of the game, though. He was replaced earlier, and now we're going to have Gates Brown. Gates Brown is a tremendous pinch hitter. 92 at bats, 7 doubles, 2 triples, and 6 home runs with a 370 average. So we've been saving him, so we're going to bring him in. So it's going to be Brown for McMahon in the bottom of the 6th. And the new pitcher is going to be Sparma. Sparma is going to come in. There you go. It's going to be nice and easy to identify when Sparma came in, for someone who doesn't have the greatest vision in the world like me. All right, so it's going to be Gates Brown. So we have Wirt. Wirt for McLean, so that was an A, and then he stayed in the game. And then it was, actually he was, yeah. No, it's going to be A. Brown is A. So there's no letter there because he was in the game. There was a double switch, and then he batted. So it's going to be Brown, who's going to be an A. We're going to put an A in there for pinch hitter. It's going to be Gates Brown against Bob Gibson. The score is 4-3. We're in the bottom of the 6th. There's 2 out. A runner on first, which is Northrup. Let's take a look if Northrup is a threat to steal. He's a D stealing, but he's decent on the base paths, 1-15. And it's going to be a 6-8. A 6-8 is a fly ball. Flood moves over a bit, and he makes the catch. So Gates Brown, 370 hitter, and he may get one more chance to bat. I'd like to leave him in the lineup there, and he can play left field. He can play left field. I'd like to put him in center. Gates Brown in center. I don't know that he's that kind of player. So we're just going to leave it as is. And Gates Brown is out of the game. And that's all for the bottom of the 6th. And it's going to be Freehand and then Wirt and then the top of the order in the bottom of the 7th. But the Tigers do come up with 1 run, and the score now is 4-3 Cardinals. So Sparma is going to face Dal Maxville. Dal Maxville is 1 for 2. He's singled and driven in 2 runs. So that's going to be a 7, excuse me, 5-7. And that's going to be off Sparma. 5-7 is a strikeout. So Dal Maxville goes down on strikes. And it's going to be Gibson, who is hitting card number 2. Hitting card number 2 for Gibson. And it's off Sparma's card, a 6-9. 6-9. It's going to be a fly ball to left field, and that's Horton out there. He makes the catch. And it's Lou Brock. Brock is 1 for 3, a single and a stolen base. And again, it's off Sparma. It's a 5-11. A 5-11. It's going to be a catcher's card. Both catchers are 2, so that simplifies it for me. The 20-sided die says 16, so you look at 16, it's going to be a wild pitch, but there's nobody on base, followed by a foul out. So it's a foul out to the catcher, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. 4-3 St. Louis. It's going to be Freehand, Wirt, and McAuliffe. 3-7. It's a ground ball to the shortstop, Maxville. 1 away. Wirt is 0 for 1. And that's going to be a 6-6. 6-6 is going to be a fly ball. Flood over. 2 away. And it's Dick McAuliffe, who is 1 for 2, a walk and a single. And again off the pitcher's card, 4-10. And that's going to be a walk. So McAuliffe manages a walk off of Gibson, and that's Gibson's 3rd walk of the game. And that puts the tying run on at first. And Mickey Stanley, the batter. Now, Mickey Stanley batted .259 with 16 doubles, 6 triples, and 11 home runs in 1968. McAuliffe is on at first, 2 outs, and Bob Gibson looks in for the sign. He sets and deals, and it's going to be off Stanley's card, a 3-9. A 3-9 is a line drive base hit, and McAuliffe can hustle over to third. He's going to be a 17, and that's a 3. So McAuliffe goes over to third, and Stanley is on with a single, and we have first and third. The tying run is 90 feet away. Al Kaline, who's 1 for 3 on the day, he doubled in the 3rd inning. Speed. Kirk Gibson against Al Kaline, 2 Hall of Fame players. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. There are 2 outs. The score is St. Louis 4, Detroit 3. Runners on first and third. Stanley on at first, McAuliffe on at third, and Al Kaline facing Bob Gibson. And Bob Gibson is checking in for the sign. He sets and he deals. Kaline swings. It's going to be a 9, and it's a 1-3 home run or a 4-20 double, and he connects and drives that into right center field, and that's rolling to the wall. Hustling to get that is Curt Flood. He's going to hit the cutoff. 1 run is in, McAuliffe, and we're going to try to score Stanley. Take a look at Stanley. Stanley runs at 115, but there's 2 outs, so it's 1-17, so we're going to have to re-roll. And it could be The Tigers taking the lead here, and he's safe at home. The tag is late, and that's a 2-run, 2-out double by the future Hall of Famer, Al Kaline, against the future Hall of Famer, not Kirk Gibson, but Bob Gibson. And the Tigers in the bottom of the 7th have scored 2 runs and taken the lead 5-4. Very, very exciting. So this is all going on after there was 2 outs. So this is a huge 2-out rally, and it looks like it's the hook for Bob Gibson. And it looks like we're going to see Joe Hoerner. Joe Hoerner, tremendous season. If you look at his card, in 1968, he won 8, lost 2. He had a 1.47 ERA in 49 innings pitched. And he only allowed 2 home runs. So he's an outstanding pitcher, and he will for sure hold his own here and keep that additional run from scoring. We're going to pencil him in as orange, going to color him in as orange to easy recognition that, hey, a relief pitcher came in right here. And he's going to face Norm Cash. Norm Cash batted .263 with 15 doubles, 1 triple, but 25 home runs, so he has some decent power, particularly for 1968, when I think the batting title was won by Carl Yastrzemski with a .301 batting average, if my memory serves me correctly. Anyway, let's get the pitch from Joe Hoerner now, and to Norm Cash. Hoerner checks in for the sign. He sets and he deals, and it's a 5-9, so it's going to be off Hoerner's card. So Hoerner is stingy, but let's see what happens. It's a ground ball, a chopper, slow chopper to Javier. Javier picks it up and over to first, and that's the 3rd out. But the damage in the bottom of the 7th has been done on 2 hits, a walk, and 2 runs. And the Tigers, who are playing for their life here because the series is in the hands of the Cardinals 3-0. So it's a do or die day for the Tigers. They have come through in the clutch, particularly Al Kaline. So it's going to be Joe Sparma who stays in the game. Joe Sparma is going to pitch to Flood, who's 0 for 3, Maris, who's 1 for 3, and then Cepeda, who's 2 for 3. So here's going to go Curt Flood, Joe Sparma to Curt Flood. Curt Flood batted .301 with 17 doubles, 4 triples, and 5 home runs. Not much power. It's 2-5, and that's going to be a walk, ball 4. So the tying run is on base for St. Louis. And it's Roger Maris, who's 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th inning. And it's 2-11. 2-11 is going to be a hard hit ground ball right at the second baseman. This is a tailor-made double play, and it's 4-6-3, and they are out of the inning. 4-6-3 double play. Actually, no, it's 2 outs, excuse me. It's 2 outs, and it's going to be Orlando Cepeda with 2 out, nobody on. And it's 2-10. That's going to be off Cepeda's card, and that's going to be strike 3. So Sparma gets his 2nd strikeout. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Score is Detroit 5, St. Louis 4 in Game 4 of the 1968 World Series replay. and it's Willie Horton. And Willie Horton is going to face Joe Horner. And Horton is 0 for 2. He walked, scored a run, struck out, and grounded out. Now, Horton has a tremendous card. 285 with 20 doubles, 2 triples, and 36 home runs. What a season. And it's going to be a 3-6. A 3-6 is a swing and a miss. Goes down swinging. And it's going to be Jim Northrup, who's 1 for 3 against Joe Horner. The pitch. It's off Horner's card. It's a 4-7. So it's 4-7. And he goes down swinging. Second strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Joe Horner. And it's Bill Freehan. Freehan is 0 for 3. Flied out. Popped up and flied out. Oh, excuse me. It's not. It's actually the pitcher spot. And we're going to have to see a pinch hitter here for Detroit, I believe. Hate to do it with 2 outs, but I don't want to let the pitcher bat. So I'm going to bring in Pat Dobson as a Gates Brown batted. What do we have left here? I think we have 1 player left on the bench. This is a short team with, I think, 20 cards. So you really have to be a bit of a magician to keep this going when you have to do a lot of pinch hitters and so forth. All right, so we're going to bring in Dick Tracewski. Tracewski batted 156. Was not in the running for the batting title, by the way. Hit 3 doubles, 1 triple, but has some power with 4 home runs and 200 at bats. Some power, not very much. So he's going to be a B, and he's going to come in for, so Tracewski 4, Sparma in the bottom of the 8th. We're going to roll for Tracewski. And that's a 1-1-1. So it's a 1-11. It's going to be a hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop, Maxville. Maxville handles it cleanly over to first. And that's the end of the 8th. We go to the top of the 9th. And it's going to be Pat Dobson. Pat Dobson, 1-5, lost 8, had a 2.66 ERA in 125 innings. He allowed 50 walks. So that's about 1 walk every 3 innings, approximately. Maybe a little bit over that. Obviously, I'm not a mathematician. But he's going to try to get the save. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be in red here in the top of the 9th inning. I usually use red for the closers. And it's the top of the 9th, and Pat Dobson is going to face McCarver, Shannon, and Javier. So McCarver against Pat Dobson. McCarver's 1 for 3 on the day. He grounded out, singled, and struck out. And here's the pitch from Dobson. And it's a 4-6. A 4-6. That's off Hobson's card. A 4-6. It's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. And Stanley is a 4. Not a very good fielding shortstop. And it's a 20 on a 4. It's going to be a ball that Stanley actually can handle, and he gets it over to first, and they beat McCarver by a step. So that's one away. That was a miracle. Never expected Stanley to handle that one. And it's Mike Shannon. Here's the pitch. It's off Dobson's card, a 6-6. It's going to be ball 4. Tying run at first base. Shannon runs 1-13, and it's Julian Javier, who batted .260, 25 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 home runs, 24 walks, and 519 at bats. With Shannon on at first. And it's a 5-7 off Dobson again. 5-7. It's going to be a swing and a miss. And that's strike 3. So there's 2 away. And Dal Maxfield, the batter, he's 1 for 3 on the day with a 2-run single. He only batted .253, which is actually much better than, I believe, the 67 Dal Maxfield, who I think batted around 200. But we're going to check the Cardinals bullpen, dugout to see if we can find somebody. We have Ron Davis, who batted .203 as well. We have Gagliano, who batted .20 something, not very high. We have Edwards, the backup catcher, batted .239 with 9 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs. And that's all she wrote. That's what we have on the bench. We have 3 potential batters. So we're going to let Maxville bat. Now somebody who loves the Cards is going to contact me and tell me, why did you let Maxville bat? Well, I got the pitcher up next. And if I could pinch hit with somebody who has a lower batting average, a little bit more power, but I don't know. It seems like it's 6 of one or half dozen of the other. So I'm going to let Maxwell bat. He's got a 2-run single in this game, so he's hot. And it's going to be Dobson against Maxwell. Here in the top of the 9th, the score is Detroit 5 and St. Louis 4. And again, it's going to be off Dobson's card. It's a 6-3. So we'll see what that becomes. 6-3. It's a hard-hit ground ball right at the first baseman, Cash, who's a 2. It's an 11. A 2 on 11. It's going to be a ball that's off the heel of his glove. And that's going to go for an error. And Shannon is going to stop at second base, but it's an E3. And it's first and second now. And now we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. Going to bring in John Edwards, who batted .239. So John Edwards is going to bat for the pitcher, Horner. Now let's color in Horner. Let's finish doing that. That was Horner's work right there. And it looks like we're going to go to the bullpen as well for the looks like we're going to go to the bullpen. And let's look at John Hiller. John Hiller, .239. We already used McMahon. We have another kid named Patterson in there. I believe. Oh no, is Patterson on the other team? Yeah, Patterson is on. Oh no, Patterson is a Tiger. He's sitting in the wrong dugout. We've got to get him out of there. Patterson batted. Okay, Patterson is a pretty good. Okay, yeah, we're gonna bring in a guy named Darryl. Take a look at him, Darryl Patterson. And Patterson, at a 2-3, 1 loss, a 2.12 ERA. He pitched 68 innings. So Darryl Patterson is going to come in and replace Dobson. And what color are we going to use? We're going to use a yellow, I believe, here. Going to bring out the yellow the very most traditional highlighter color. I think at one time it was the only highlighter color you could get. And he's going to pitch. She's going to pitch to the pinch hitter, John Edwards. So Patterson replaces Dobson. And he's going to pitch to Edwards. Edwards for not Gibson, but Horner. And it's going to be an A, and that's going to be in the top of the ninth. And we're ready to roll. John Edwards going to bat here with runners on first and third. The score is Detroit 5, St. Louis 4. And Cardinal John Edwards is going to see if he can drive in the tying run and put this into overtime, extra innings. And here's the pitch from Patterson. Say 1-3, a 1-3. That ball is lined and caught by the second baseman, McAuliffe. And that's the game. So, the Cardinals threaten in the top of the ninth inning, but to no avail. And the final score is Detroit 5, Cardinals 4, and the series is now 3-1. Cardinals. So the Tigers stay alive, and I hope you enjoy the video. And I'll see you guys soon. Like, comment, correct my mistakes, my fumbles. No problem. I'll try to do better next time. And I'll be playing game 5 in a little while. So I'll be back on. So take care now.